excited to introduce myself to you all. Okay. I am Asabari, and I will also be taking classes for economics and other topics at IS Origin. And I'm really, really happy to, interact with you today, specifically with regards to a topic which is the budget analysis. It's a topic which is really, okay, hi Sunil. Yeah, now I got it. Okay. So this topic of budget is really, really made very difficult, and it's not very difficult. And we will trade into this topic and we'll understand and make it easier, right? Because whenever you feel that a concept is difficult, or whenever you feel that a concept is going out of your hands, just try to think the major steps that can make that thing easy, right? Because when it comes easy, that way you will learn it easily and retain it, memorize it, right? So that is how we will proceed. Okay. Today's topic is about an easy analysis of budget, which means that, of course, the document is a 60-page document, which, of course, is delivered in a certain time frame. Okay. However, when we understand it and try to, draw some important implications or conclusions, what do we need to actually see? Okay, so we'll look into the budget document. Okay, I have a summary document. Okay, and this summary document will be available to you all just on your announcement section. Okay, maybe by tomorrow. Okay, or day after, right? It's a very simplistically drawn made budget document summary. Okay, of course there was also a summary which was given on the government portal also, but we have made even more easier summary so that you can also note down some important points, take down some highlights of the budget and understand it, right? Okay, now let's begin with today's class. Okay, when we talk about budget, okay, I'll share the screen, but before I share the screen and before I share any document, I would like to interact with you guys a little more. Okay, when we talk about budget, now you all are aspirants and you all look at budget from a very document, important constitutional document point of view. I must I would already know that many of you already have even watched the polity classes and even gone through some content, some material. So okay, so before we now go into the depths of budget and kya tha budget mein, what was it about, just a simplistic note. When we talk about a budget of the nation or of our nation in particular, we talk about a few articles in the constitution, okay, which are designated for the different things that a budget would present or a budget would mean. But what does it actually mean? Okay, it's actually a term which signifies how much expenditure can be done in your financial year, in a new financial year. Exactly like a family plans for maybe a trip, or maybe groceries, or maybe a monthly budget. Similarly, it's exactly as easy as that. Okay, now of course it's not just a family, it's a huge family of families which talks about the budget of our country, right? And which is why we talk about the budget in that perspective, wherein we are only focusing majorly on the amount of expenditures which will be done in different sectors. Okay, but why is it important? if it's just about expenditure, we already know that, it's going to be about the different sectors in the economy. So for different sectors, there'll be budget allocated. So why every year we have to look into it कि कौन से sector को कितना मिला? Why? So because there's one very important reason. These sectors will tell us where the government has inclined itself to prioritize their targets, okay, and their important implementations, okay. So where is the government's target? Is it in construction? Is it in manufacturing? Is it in services? Is it in agriculture? Is it for the farmers? Is it for the underprivileged? Is it with regards to poverty? अब देखो इतनी बड़ी country, it's a huge country. Not every year the target will be same or similar, or not every year the targets are going to be for all the sectors and segments. Of course, the government has to prioritize, correct? And which is why it's very, very, very important that every year we look at the budget document from that perspective. Okay, what are the sectors in which the government has inclined itself? Okay, this is the sector where priority will be given this year. Okay. Many of the people who read the budget would think कि okay, this time they have not given importance to agriculture. They are against agriculture. They are against the farmers, or they are against the service sector. No, it's not. See, there are plethora of these sectors and segments, right? And which is why it's very, very important that the government makes a choice, right? Okay, so I hope that this is, understood by all. So Lokesh, we were just discussing that in which article in the Constitution is referred to the article for budget, okay, which, by the way, a trivia, by the way, budget is not a terminology which is used in the constitutional documents. It is actually the annual financial statement, which is AFS, annual financial statement. This is the terminology which is used in the articles from 112 to 114, which primarily would look into the financial aspects, okay, of the country. Okay, so Lokesh, that was what we were talking about, and I was also discussing about why it is relevant. Okay, now we will just open up the document, the summary document, and I'll also, meanwhile keep you explaining the terms and the concepts, right? So let's begin. Perfect. Okay. A very important part where we also should focus is that when we talk about the budget document, okay, why is it not working? Okay, so when we talk about the budget document, we also should know that this where does this budget document gets created, or under whose direction and under whose supervision and authority this document is created. So we must be aware, okay, that, or you all must be aware that it comes under the Ministry of what? Finance? Is it finance? So we talk about the Ministry of Finance, right? The Ministry of Finance is in charge. But obviously, Ministry of Finance has a lot of other things to do also, except for just coming with the budget, right? So under the Ministry of Finance, there is a department, and this department is of Economic Affairs. The Department of Economic Affairs. Oops, sorry. Economic Affairs. Okay. DEA. Department of Economic Affairs. Why did I say this DEA? Because under this Department of Economic Affairs, now again, economic affairs does not just mean budget making. Of course, it has a lot of other, a variety of things to do, right? So under the Department of Economic Affairs, we have a division which is known as the Budget Division, जिसकी sole responsibility यही रहती है. The sole responsibility of this division is to produce the budget document, and with the due analysis of why a certain amount of expenditure has to be given to which sector, which different government schemes are to be launched in a specific budget. All of those things are given or are produced by the budget division. Okay, there are more than 10 divisions which are under the Department of Economic Affairs, out of which one is the budget division. Okay, if you want to know more about the Department of Economic Affairs and what do they do, you can just go to the dea.gov.in and you will find more about these divisions, right? Okay, now we have understood about what is budget. We have also understood about who produces this budget, but we should also know that why or what was the budget or the highlights of the budget of the year 2023-24, right? So here we are going to understand about that. Okay, now you must have all heard about the vision of Amrit Kal. Okay, Amrit Kal over here has been mentioned to the to India reaching the mark of 100 years, of course, after independence. Okay, and how should India of 100 years look like? Okay, and which is why we are, or the government and the whole vision of India is projecting towards that 100-year mark. Okay, how should India of 100 years look like? What should be ideally the growth rate of India? What should be the youth doing when India reaches 100 years? Okay, all of those things are under the vision, the new vision of Amrit Kal. Okay, so that's what we talk about these days. That's what you look into whenever you look into the newspapers and whenever you look into even the new question papers. Okay, you will see this terminology. Okay, Amrit Kal, because now India is going to follow a certain growth pattern, a certain economic perspective, a vision which is related to how India will look like when it becomes when it completes 100 years. Correct? Abhi, when we talk about Amrit Kal, so the vision of Amrit Kal has three important things. These three things are golden. Okay? These are the things that will be projected in different other government schemes or different other statements by the government or different other areas of development. Okay, the very first thing is related to youth. We all know, we have been talking about it, we all know that demographic dividend, India is rich in demographic dividend and wants to be rich in demographic dividend. Have you all heard about this term, demographic dividend? Yes? Demographic dividend. Yes, have you all heard about this term? Demography. Demography मतलब क्या होता है? Demography means the study of population. Okay. Dividend. whenever we use dividend, it's usually, you must have heard this word when we talk about stock markets. Okay, what was the dividend on a certain type of assets? Okay, so it's actually the country's asset. Who is country's asset presently? The youth. Okay, practically the youth will always be a country's asset, because the a number of years that a youth will thrive, will be invested in, okay, will be contributing in any type of sector, in any segment of the country, will help in production of gross domestic product, will help in production of national income, right? So which is why it's very, very important that youth has to be focused. So the very first focus is on youth, youth focused opportunities and all inclusive welfare. Okay. Secondly, growth and job creation. Now, if you find it hard to remember so many things, just connect it. Okay, connect the dots. Youth ko kya chahiye? What do they want? They want jobs. They want growth. They want higher pay, salaries, right? They want some good amount of employment opportunities. So, which is why the youth requires a certain amount of direction, and which again is a new focus, which is growth and job creation. And then how will it happen? How will it happen? Of course, guidance, when guidance is something that is required by every human, because direction is very important. Even for a huge ship, चाहे कितना भी बड़ा massive ship क्यों ना हो, if the ship is has loss of direction, it can go into some Bermuda Triangle, and just wreck. So it's very important. Direction is important. So yes. So now, how will all of these things connect? How all of these things will happen? Youth has to be focused, growth and development, growth chahiye hame, job creation bhi chahiye. To strengthen macroeconomic stability. Macroeconomic stability. Now, how will the economy be stable? Macroeconomic stability matlab kya hota hai? When the different pillars, the foundation of the country will be stable. Okay. For example, when the inflationary trend will stabilize, when inflation will be a little less. Okay. I would not say that completely inflation chala jayega, kyunki aisa nahi hota hai, right? Inflation also shows growth. Okay. But when inflation is under control, okay. So when inflation is under control, then when the manufacturing sector is thriving means it's not just the manufacturing sector does not require, the manufacturing sector actually requires a lot of time to substantially exist in the economy, right? When a major steel plant or an automobile industry or any industry for that matter is created, it requires time to build itself. Gradually, employment opportunities will increase. Gradually, production will happen. Then in the market, the product will go, demand will increase. So all of these things take time, right? And which is why manufacturing sector becomes a little sluggish to manage. So manufacturing sector, when is sustainable and it starts rolling, then third point can be related to employment. Okay, employment also is a major macroeconomic factor. Okay, when employment opportunities are plethora, when employment is available to people, okay, when people are designated at various places, okay, so employment opportunities, right? All of these, okay, are known as macroeconomic variables or macroeconomic parameters. ठीक है? और भी बहुत सारे हैं. It can be growth in the economy, it can be development in the economy, okay? All of these factors are responsible for strengthening, boosting the economy, right? These are the pillars to boost these are the fundamentals of economic growth, right? तो जब ये strong हो जाएंगे तो क्या होगा? There'll be stability in the economy, and when the economy will be stable, it will not be shaky, it will be stable. At that time, eventually the economy will grow faster, right? So all of these things are connected. So do not worry while learning a document. Whenever you think that, okay, it's so much to understand, just connect it with each other and you will retain it more, okay? I hope that it's understandable up till here. Yeah? Now, something that has to be very, very keenly observed in the budget summary document, okay, or in the budget document is the vision of Amrit Kal. What are the priorities? Like I said initially, ki every year when the budget is made, you should look at those sectors jahan mein priority government ne dikhai hai, where the inclination has been shared by the government. Here now you can see that there are 7 things, okay, wherein the government has shown inclination. Okay, these are the 7 priorities. Okay, now there are 7 priorities. How you will remember these 7 priorities? So there's a simple acronym. Okay, acronym matlab abbreviation jaisa hota hai. Okay, short. Only we will take first alphabets और उसको अपने हिसाब से जोड़ के तोड़ के मरोड़ के इस तरह से बना लेंगे that you remember. Okay, so I have designed one which is I, guy, fry. Okay, I, guy, fry. Right? Easy to remember. Okay, just ये मत भूल जाना कि उसके what are the supposedly parameters associated with it, but yeah. Okay, now these although these are different alphabets, मैंने इसको इस तरह से इसलिए जोड़ा है because there's a reason. Okay, so first I represents what? Inclusive development. Inclusive development. When you include everyone, you do not exclude anyone. Okay, inclusive development कैसे होगा? How will inclusive development happen? When more and more people will be under the shelter of government, okay, the governmental institutions which are there to help the process of growth and development happen in the economy, when they will reach out to more and more people, there'll be an umbrella under which everyone will come, right? है ना, जैसे गोवर्धन पर्वत उठा लिया था कृष्ण भगवान ने. So it's exactly that type of imaging. So it's inclusive development. Do not leave anybody. Do not leave anybody, right? And it's a matter of fact that when you do not leave anyone, we aspire to have more equality. Okay, obviously equality is a very huge parameter or huge parameter to implement. But still, if even 1% of it is implemented, you will see that there is some chance of establishing some important if I say that when we talk about inclusive development, we talk about some very important sectors. For example, banking. Okay, 50 years ago, when we just talked about banking, or when our parents talked about banking, was a totally different scenario. Do you all agree to this? Banking sector in front of our eyes, okay? If we call ourselves the youth of the country, then in front of our eyes, the banking sector has drastically 360-degree changed, right? Is just commendable. So we have come a long way. And now, going to whether we talk about DBT or whether we talk about, um, artificial intelligence included in the banking and insurance sector, which is a very important service sector in itself. Inclusive development is gradually happening, right? So always remember that whenever you talk about anything, give examples, okay? It's very important to connect with people, to connect with the audience, and for your sake, while you write the answer, you have to connect with examiner, right? So you should be talking logic, right? Secondly, now I ho gaya, I is done. Now GUI, GUI. Okay, so first let's talk about G, green growth. Sustainable development, the sustainable development target, you all know, is the year 2030. Yes, do you all remember the SDG goals? How many goals are there? SDG goals? याद है किसी को कि भूल गए? Do you remember? Yes. How many sustainable development goals are there? Don't go searching the google.com. If you do not remember, you can say, no, ma'am, I do not remember, but don't go searching. Okay, now is not the time. Okay. All right. What happened, Sunil? What happened? Yes, everyone has given a correct answer. Yes, Ankita. Okay. Now, remember this, okay? Very good. Everyone has given the correct answer. 17 sustainable development goals are there, and we have to reach the target by the year 2030. Yes, which is not really, it's not really impossible. It's possible, but there have to be certain steps. Now, what are those steps? Will be designated by the target of green growth. So that's why the second priority, or the priority number 2, according to this acronym is what? Green growth. Why government is inclining towards green growth? Because we know that jaise development hota hai na, always remember, when the economies will develop, there will be a massive amount of problems related to environment. Deforestation hoga, kyun? Because there has to be enough land for erecting buildings, erecting different types of institutions, factories, industries, whatsoever, right? So deforestation. Because now these factories and all of the industrialization will take place, a lot of pollution will start, right? So air pollution, noise pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, acidification of soil, all of these things will start, right? Okay. Then more development will happen, more and more development, hyper development will happen. Now, more and more pollution will start to take place. People will start to, use different non-biodegradable things like, polythene. We use polythenes and we use poly bags, which is basically an element which cannot be degraded biologically. So these things happen. When development happens, environment degradation happens. ठीक है? It's like a byproduct. ऐसे नहीं कर सकते that development भी हो रहा है and environment is also nice. Okay, but we can control the negative impact of growth. We can control the environmental degradation to an extent. So green growth is actually about how simultaneously growth can take place and environmental degradation can also be controlled. This is what green growth has been ideally prioritized for. We cannot stop growth. We cannot stop completely the environment degradation, but we can control both of them. We can make a balance between both of them, right? So that's what green growth is about. Then we have U. U is about youth power. Who will do all of these things? Who will propagate about green growth, about inclusive development, okay, about employment, okay? Who will be a part of employment opportunities? Who will be part of the macroeconomic system? We, us, youth, right? Youth has immense power. Usually, aspirants like you all read about a term, brainwashing, right? Brainwash karke people leave, students leave the country. I find that very stupid, if I want to say it like that, because youth has the power to actually understand what is going around the world and have that ability to change it. Okay, but you can't change it by making like a rebellion, strike or something. No, that's not how you change things. You change things by being in the system, being a part of the system, and gradually changing it, piece by piece, step by step, right? So youth power has a lot of potential, and that's what is the priority of the government or of this budget, right? So more amount of youth being involved in different types of vocational trainings and vocational skills to be imparted to youth, so that they can become skilled, they can become entrepreneurs, they can become aspirants, they can become a part of the journey of changing lives. I think that's something that is the major target or the priority of this budget, right? So we have youth power. Okay. I'm really sorry why I actually took why while communicating, but it was you that I was targeting to. Okay. So now coming back to what we were actually saying. So we have I. Okay, then we have Guy, G, U, okay, and I. Okay, I, Guy. Okay, so now this U we were talking about actually, which is unleashing the potential. Unleashing the potential is actually very abstract. If you think about it, it's very abstract. Kya? Unleashing the potential matlab kya? Unleashing the potential means that whether there are untapped sectors, untapped industries, untapped market, untapped products, all of these untapped segments of the nation have a lot of potential. Okay, there is so much of potential in so many sectors which are not yet in the market. Okay, but if they are properly trained, properly skilled, given proper attention, they will also have enough potential which can be easily introduced even for export and import. If it's services, if it's products, it can be used for that. So unleashing the potential is with regards to that. Also, if we just talk about energy sector, for that matter. Okay, you must have seen that now we can actually visualize and see that there are so many energy plants that are being stationed, that are being, put, whether we talk about solar energy or wind energy. Okay, these are the Gen X. These are the segments which have high potential and which will be necessary tomorrow meaning kal nahi, but the coming tomorrow, our future, right? So unleashing the potential is actually with regards to all of these things under one umbrella. Okay, and अभी potential कैसे उजागर होगा? How will this potential come out? By investment in infrastructure, right? Yes, the lithium, well, whether we talk about the new findings in Rajasthan or Kashmir belt, the geological finds, okay, we can definitely say that all of these come under the unleashing the potential. Okay, because these are the to produce energy, to produce electricity, or to provide for any important sector or segment that we right now are importing from other countries, right? So yes, और ये कैसे होगा? ये होगा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर से, इन्वेस्टमेंट से. When money will go in these sectors, when investment will go in these sectors, okay, these sectors will bloom, these sectors will substantially be made, okay, and they will have a strength of its own, right? Investment has a lot of power, okay, specifically capital investment. The money, capital investment, something that can create, has a lot of power. If I just have an analogy, we all know that a mother has all the power. Mother cannot be suppressed. It's a totally different power that a mother has, right? Because mother is related to production or creation of a new asset, a new being. It's a miracle of life. Similarly, it's the same analogy. Capital investment, forget any type of investment, capital investment has a lot of potential to create new and important investments and infrastructures and assets, which will give rise to educational infrastructure or services or hospitals or roads and means of transport or means of communication. Everything is related to infrastructure, right? And which is why capital investment or investment is important, right? So we know now I and Guy. Okay, now the last one is FRI. Okay, so FRI, F stands for financial sector. Financial sector. Financial sector, usually people misunderstand that financial sector is only about, banks, right? Financial sector is actually about bringing people together. Financial sector is actually about bringing people together for, for making the flow of income. Okay, financial sector has a very powerful role, okay, to enhance the circular flow of income. Okay, input, output. If there is, something substantial which goes into the system, something substantial comes out of the system. Okay, whether we talk about lending the money, whether we talk about deposits, whether we talk about financial stability, whether we talk about catering to inflation, whether we talk about catering to savings and investment, financial sector has a major massive role to play. Okay, and when I said that financial sector also brings people together, it actually does, because that is one such place. Whether we talk about banks or financial institutions, we are technically there in their documents, in their IDs. We are there, we all are there, right? It's a transparent system. So more and more financial inclusivity will strengthen the economy and will make us more and more interconnected, right? Yeah. Then R stands for reaching the last mile. Okay, I think that is something that's always has been a major priority, reaching the last mile. Okay, reaching the last mile means that the last beneficiary, the last person in the line should also be benefited in the same way like the first person in the line, right? The last person in the line also should get the same facilities, same product or services, same type of facilities like the first person in the line. So reaching the last mile actually will talk about more amount of government schemes of connecting with beneficiaries. Okay, the last end beneficiaries, right? Reaching the last mile will always talk about different schemes through which government can actually plan through this budget. Okay, how the last person in the line will also gain in the same way, right? So that's what is reaching the last mile. And finally, we have why, like I already explained to you, the youth power. Okay, so all of this cannot happen without youth being the interactive one, the youth being engaged one. Youth has to engage in the macroeconomic parameters. The youth has to have training, skills, education, employment, and has to be the important part of growing the national income of the economy. Okay, that's how we envision the 100 years of India. That's what is the vision of Amrit Kal. And that is how the 7 priorities have been given. Okay. You want to say कि सभी लोगों को स्कीम के प्रॉफिट मिलने चाहिए? No. See. Okay. If I give you a small example, someone who is aiming, okay, for something, okay. For example, if you are here to learn, you are aiming, you are an aspirant, and you are here to learn, and which is why I am here to teach, right? So there's an end-to-end. You are the beneficiary over here, right? And I'm providing that benefit or facility. Okay. Similarly, the target, a scheme has a certain target. It cannot be targeted to everyone, right? Some people in the population are privileged. Privileged meaning that they have access to goods and services easily because they have gained it through their income sources. Okay. But some of them are not so privileged. And which is why to provide them the same type of privileges, similar privileges, is the duty of government, because government's major duty is welfare, right? And which is why when we talk about reaching the last mile, it actually means that. Okay, Lokesh? Yeah? Now, there's a lot more that we can talk about. There's a lot more that we can talk about in depths, because of course we will have more amount of interactions, okay, and we will learn more about these topics or these highlights or priorities in the budget segment, okay, in the budget document. Okay, there's a lot more that we can learn and I can provide to you all, right? But because we have paucity of time presently, okay, so I would like to complete this class right now. Okay. Also, I know that there are questions in your mind, so feel free. Okay, you can just contact at IS Origin. Okay, and you can get your you can get some good answers through the academic team. Okay. We have presently just gone through the part A, okay, and we have just gone through the blueprint of part A, which was given in the budget document. Okay, this document will be available in the announcement section by Monday. Okay, you will be shared this document, and also we will soon have another class. I will soon have another class with you all, right? And along the same lines, we will then discuss about some more details about the budget document, and of course the part B, which is regarding the typical facts and figures, okay, which will also interest you a lot. Okay. Yes, of course, Lokesh, this and Sunil and all of you all, ये PDF आपको मिल जाएगा. Don't worry. Okay. Next week again we'll meet. Yeah. Okay. We'll meet again. And it was very interesting to talk to you all, and I had a gala time because you all were interacting with me, and I really want that enthusiasm to last longer, and we will meet soon. Okay, right, and complete this document. Yes, what happened? Health department, I really want you to tell me your name, because I cannot just keep calling you health department, I believe. Yes, name? No name? Okay, anyways, okay, let me call you health department only. Okay. हिंदी मीडियम से हो तो थोड़ा सा प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है. नो प्रॉब्लम लोकेश, वी आर ऑल्सो गोइंग टू स्टार्ट अ बैच फॉर जस्ट हिंदी soon. Okay, for that also you can contact the admissions team and executives at IS Origin, and you can have a look at that as well. Okay. Yes, of course, we'll have another class. Don't worry. अगले हफ्ते फिर से हम class में मिलेंगे. All right. We will have another class. Okay. The unanswered question which was asked by health department, if you're still here. See, what you asked was a little different from what we were talking about. That's why I did not take the question that time. ठीक है. Where is your question? हाँ. National Financial Information Registry. See, it is just a repository. Okay, it's basically a repository of all the data that you require. आपको जब परेशानी होती है कि where is the data for GDP and where is the data, although all of these data are available in different different official websites, but to make a financial repository so that you can get it at one place is something that will be done by the National Financial Information Registry. इसका काम है financial information देना, right? तो that's what it will do precisely. ठीक है? Okay? So that's it, guys. That's it. I will see you all soon. Okay? And the next class will be told to you in the announcement section. So see you all soon. Bye-bye. Take care of yourselves and keep studying. Okay? Bye-bye.